The Bears bye week is here as they drew the earliest bye week possible, and let's explore some changes. Ben Johnson said it in training camp. Hey, the early bye is a benefit because we'll have a month of tape and we'll get to look at corrections that need to be made. So I got 5 changes that I would explore if I was Ben Johnson and company for the Chicago Bears. The first one has already been reported, and depending on when you're watching this, maybe there's been confirmation. Now, the team isn't going to confirm it because they're out for the rest of the week. They don't have to talk to the media. Now, coaches are probably in the building, but you guys get the gist. The left tackle swap. Brad Biggs reports that it's likely going to be Theo Benedet as Braxton Jones is expected to go to the bench. Now, is this 100% confirmed and finalized? As we're filming this, no. Maybe we hear confirmation later, but it certainly sounds like that's going to be the case, and we're filming this as if that is going to be the case. My initial take to that news, by the way, was just Braxton's not in their future plans. He has not gotten back to what he was before, and what he was before, again, was a fine player, especially for a fifth-round pick, a great find in the 5th round, honestly, one of Ryan Pohl's better draft picks, but not even a top half of the league left tackle. I would say a starting left tackle when you look at all 32, but you can do better. And I think the Bears are saying, look, even if a Theo Benedet isn't some major upgrade, as long as it's similar, well, he is going to be on our roster beyond this year. They seem to like him better in the run game at least, and obviously the run game's been a problem. So, I think this more than anything else is like, well, he's underperforming, and we have other options who can probably do a similar level job, and Braxton's a free agent after this year, so let's go ahead and try someone else. At least that is how I am taking it. Now, maybe you disagree. And look, I don't have a strong agree or disagree because I don't think the Bears have great left tackle options. I think we saw that play out in training camp. Hopefully, Theo lights it up. But do you agree with the benching of Braxton Jones? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'm cool with it because, again, I would doubt there's some major drop-off because Braxton hasn't been that good. But at the same time, I'm not going to blow smoke and act like Theo Benedet's going to go be an all-pro. So kind of neutral on it, but I certainly understand it. Okay, number 2, please more Kyle Monangai. I want to get to a quote from Ben Johnson here that he said on Monday about the running game. He said, I don't think our running struggles were a reflection of DeAndre. That was talking about the Raiders game specifically. He said he's a guy that continues to run the ball very hard, even though the yards per carry aren't where any of us want it to be right now. He's as frustrated as anybody. He's very prideful in what he can do and what he brings to the table. And I agree that it's not all on him, and I'm not saying Ben Johnson is doing this, but to act like he hasn't played a role, it's just not true. Rushing yards over expected is in the negative, so that tells you he's leaving some yards out there. 3.3 average, that's not purely on the offensive line. Now, have there been more than a couple runs where Caleb turns to hand the ball off and within a quarter of a second, DeAndre is getting contacted? Yes, there's not much he can do there. He's not Walter Payton where he's going to bounce off 2 dudes, spin around, and turn -3 into 4 yards. I understand that, but at the same time, there have been some runs where there's a nice crease and you're like, oh, if he makes one guy miss or if he just bounces off kind of a diving tackle or something like that or sheds a little contact, he can turn a 6-yard run into 15, and he's not doing that, right? And we understand he's not a great contact balance back. He's not a great vision back. And we understand that the offensive line, I think, has been better in pass pro than run blocking. But to act like Swift is completely innocent in the lack of the run game taking off would just be naive. The numbers, the advanced analytics suggest that. Regardless of how much the pie chart the running game is on Swift, even if it's low, why not just try something else, right? I'm not a big try something else in the sake of trying, but running back is a bit of a rotation position anyway, unless you have one of these true bell cows. Kyle Monangai has shown some promise. Now, he's only averaging 3.6 yards per carry, 17 carries, 62 yards. But against Detroit, he had a -8-yard run where he got stood up, but bounced off it, spun back, and kind of tried to be a hero and lost 8 yards. If you take that out of it, he has 16 carries for 70 yards. That's well over 4 yards per carry. So while it's not like he's ripping off 25-yarders, you've seen some promise in some of that contact balance falling forward, just give him an opportunity. How about out of the bye week, we give him 8 carries against Washington? That would be doubling his output in the last game. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. I would be trying to give Kyle Monangai some more opportunities because regardless of the reason, this run game has not taken off with DeAndre Swift. In fact, it's been one of the worst in the league. All right, today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. The best daily fantasy sports app out there can be found at prizepicks.com/CLNS. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. I've had the fortunate of being right several times recently with a lot of my lineups. Hit a 3-player lineup on Monday night, and I am back for more this week. A 2-player lineup I really like during the Bears bye week is these 2 quarterbacks who are playing really well. Dak Prescott, more than 240.5 passing yards. Same with Daniel Jones at 221.5. They both have favorable opponents. Jets defense is struggling. So is the Raiders. $20 entry to win $60. A cool feature on PrizePicks, by the way, is you can follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, number 3, get DJ more and more involved. I saw an ESPN Advanced Analytics stat recently that DJ and Rome are 1 and 2 in terms of how often they're getting open. So, DJ's had some opportunities. Now, I'm not going to fault Caleb or whoever for not throwing to him more because clearly throwing to Rome is working out very well. But I think it's an indicator that, hey, there's been some plays dialed up where, if you throw to DJ, good things can happen. And, I think at times, I don't know if critical is the right word, but I have discussed, the option of long-term, is DJ a guy you move off of this after the season? And that has nothing to do with me thinking DJ is a bad player. That's more of, he makes a lot of money. Rome has emerged as the clear wide receiver 1, and his current production is as just kind of a decent number 2. We know he's better than that. We can debate if he's a true 1 or a high-end 2, whatever. He's better than the volume stats he has this year. I think we all agree with that. But when you draft Luther Burden, it can make a guy like DJ more expendable if Luther, develops and takes off and gets more comfortable in the offense. But regardless, as long as he's here, DJ can have a bigger role and probably should have a bigger role. So that's something I'd be looking at during the bye week to get him some more targets, maybe on that opening script against Washington, dial up a couple plays for him. So, him having a few big games to kind of get his mojo going too, I think would be a great thing for this offense. All right, once healthy, talking about the defense, blitz more. Now, Kyler Gordon and TJ Edwards on Tuesday both were seen at practice. They both, Kyler said if he could play week 5, or if they had a game week 5, he'd be playing. So it sounds like he's for sure back. TJ Edwards says his body feels good, so you would think with the extra week still, he'll be ready to go as well. These are 2 pivotal starters, top 5, 6 players on your defense, especially Kyler. I mean, Nick McLeod is just not willing to tackle, so Kyler Gordon, who we know is willing to tackle, should help in run support, fill the alley, make some of those tackles. Dennis Allen can use him on some blitzes. And TJ Edwards, to me, is a better instinctive player than Tremaine Edmonds, so he should help out in run support as well. So we know that's been a big problem for this defense, the run defense. Secondary, despite some injuries, has actually held up, especially the last 2 weeks, but Kyler can help in that regard as well. I think Dennis Allen's been a little hesitant to blitz a lot because of the injuries. It's been kind of a bend, don't break approach and, be confusing on the back end. They definitely confused Geno a couple times in some robber plays where Kevin Byard kind of faked dropping deep back, and then he'd kind of flip his hips and jump on a crossing route. So that's been nice to see. But now that you have some of your key guys coming back, I'd be dialing up that blitz rate a little bit, at least over 20%. Okay, give Austin Booker a role. Now, as of filming this, I don't know what his status is. I don't know if he'll be back week 6, but if he is, and he is eligible to return off short-term IR, I think you put him into the mix right away. You're just not getting pass rush production. I saw a PFF stat that someone tweeted out the other day that Dio Adengbo and Montez Sweat are being double-teamed the 45th most and 52nd most among defensive ends in the NFL. Teams aren't even doubling them that often, and they're still not getting pressure that often. Like those guys just have to be better. But regardless, I'd be throwing Booker into the mix right away and just seeing if he can produce, because you have 5 sacks this year and it's from 5 different dudes. They all have 1 sack. Sweat, Dexter, Adangbo, Robinson, and Passanio. Like, I don't know if Austin Booker is going to light it up and have 8 sacks after the bye week, but I'd be trying him out. I'd give him 25 snaps in that first game and see if he can create some pressure. He had a hell of a preseason. I know it's a different ball game, but you're just not getting what you need. So there's just no downside to trying a guy like this, especially in obvious pass down situations. So A, hopefully he's healthy, and B, if he is, I'd be giving him a role ASAP. You have to earn roles in the NFL, but like if the guys ahead of him aren't doing anything, then yeah, let's try the guy who has a relentless motor and seemed to be poised for a potential year 2 takeoff before he had that injury. All right. There you have it. 5 bye week changes I would try to implement if I were the Bears. What is the number one thing you would change? Is it something on the offensive line? Is it something else? Is it the running back situation? Give me your thoughts down in the comment section below. Appreciate everybody who made it to the end of the video. If you did, that makes you a real one. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We will continue to pump out content during the bye week.